Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Were Meant for More. I'm your host, Francine Ayala, and I have so much to catch up on with you. If you are new to the show, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I just got limited what I was trying to share with my son. And so my apologies for that even happening. Let me just make sure we are live and ready to go. Yes, we are. So let's edit this. You know what? I don't know why Facebook does this, but it creates it to where it is just visible to me until after I post the show, and then it's visible to everyone. So it's kind of silly, but hopefully you guys are watching somewhere else that you're able to see it. Okay, I will work on this later. So that episode, ultimately, I had to delete, and it just did not go in our favor, and I ended up losing the edited version of it. So wah wah, it was really sad and broke my heart. Long story. The following week, I actually got really sick, and to my surprise, I actually caught COVID again. It's been 5 years since the first time I'd ever have it. I ever had it, I should say, and it literally put me through the same symptoms the first time around, except grateful that the second week didn't take me down with like tons of fatigue. So grateful and blessed for that. And yes, it's still around, it's still circulating. And unfortunately, I got hit by it. And then things turned south. We actually lost somebody very near and dear to our hearts. My uncle passed away, and that was devastating. So I needed to take time to just be to heal myself and then to be with my family. So my apologies for being a little MIA, but I wanted to share what's been happening. In the meantime, we do have some exciting announcements coming. So this show, You Were Meant for More, is actually going to transition to a 30-minute show because I feel like, when I have guests, yes, we can go longer, but for 30 minutes, I feel like it's just the right amount of time for me to get the meat and potatoes. Yes, I said that. The meat and potatoes out to you the way it's meant to be shared. I want to give you some information. I want to bring you value. And I want you to be able then to turn around and utilize the information I gave you and to dive into it yourself so that you can then better understand the processes in how to restructure the thoughts and patterns that you currently have and that may be struggling with. Okay, so we are launching a new show on top of this one that's going to be called Amplify Your Voice. And it's going to focus on women in business. And I'm really excited about that because my heart is there. I not only want to change the narrative and the direction of the thoughts of people and understanding where the struggles and where the bad habits incur, but I also want to keep them from, not keep them, but help them from keeping them feeling stuck in their business. Because believe me, been there multiple times. So whether it's life or business, I understand the process in which people stay stuck and don't move forward. And believe me, I failed multiple times to tell you not to do what those things that and really help you all step into your power and purpose through your own business. Okay. So last announcement is our Women Empowerment Conference is taking place this year in 2025. The date is set September 27th, 2025 in Pasadena, California. We are thrilled. And before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and put in the website because wherever you are at, we want you to be here. So if you have to fly in, if you have to come out from another state, if you have to come in driving, if you have to come from a few hours away, whatever that may look like, be here. This is going to be the event that is going to change your life and the trajectory of where you're headed. And I'm going to ultimately plant those seeds of actionable steps for you to take. But guess what? You have to stay consistent. So show up. I want you to show up and glow up because that's what we're going to be doing. It's the Rise, Thrive, and Elevate conference. And I am bringing in some phenomenal speakers. We are giving you all the tools so that you can focus on growth mindset and also how to excel your business. And so I had to share all the updates. Like I said, my apologies for being MIA. We are hopping back into what it is that this channel is focused on, which is elevating your thoughts and your mindset to better align with the person you're meant to become. Okay, so I have my notes on the side. So let's go ahead and jump in because our topic is the fire within you. If you're not following me on social media, you got to see these posts. So make sure you head over to Facebook, Instagram. Those are the two main. I mean, I do post on LinkedIn, but when it gets a little personal, I tend to just keep it on Facebook and Instagram. So I've been sharing some personal insights so that it can resonate, and I'm sure it will, because we all go through this in our life where we're not even aware that certain patterns and habits are instilled within us. And they're those situations that continue to keep us repeating the same patterns. So whether it's bad habit, whether it's the way we're showing up in life, whether it's the people we're attracting, the environments we are circulating around, everything has its own pattern, previously programmed pattern. And so I want to dive into this. I really want to focus on this and give you the tools that you need to break through, whatever that may look like. So I want to ask you this because today I posted an image of myself when I was 4 years old. And I was probably like 3 or 4. And so it was a time when I had no worries in the world and I was all about growing and having joy and laughter. And I just want to ask you, like, do you remember being a fearless child where that version of you came out and dreamed so big that you had no limits? What happened to that fire? When did you start playing small? And that was really important for me to understand as well, because we get to learn throughout our life certain things adjusted, certain things, trauma situations where we didn't even know, we're unaware. Because I mean, I don't know about you, there's a lot of people out there that have come from very loving households or very close households, but there was a feeling within them where a family member maybe didn't show up in a certain way, maybe with not enough love, not enough attention, not enough protection, where these old patterns started to shape who we were, you know. And so I just want to share basically a story about when I was 4. So I was about 4 years old and we were living in Hawaii. We were living in, my dad was in the military and we were living in Hawaii at the time. And I want to say my brother and his friends, like they were 5 and they took off or they, went maybe to the park. I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, he could have been inside for all I knew. But all I know is that my little 4 little body hopped the fence to the backyard and took off. So I share this story because I always think it's funny because it reminds me of like later on in my life where I wanted to get out of a certain situation in my job, in my career. And I felt like you can't hold me down. I was meant to spread my wings. Thing about that story is that then fast forward to another time when I was actually in college, and I've shared this story in the past, but I want to reiterate it as well, is we were in a social economics class, and I remember our professor talking about how our social economics will almost always land us in the same class as our parents. So whether you grew up very poor income, low class, middle class, or high class, you were more likely to end up in the same class as your parents. And I remember without a doubt, just not even a skip, not even a, what is it? Not even a heartbeat, like a skip in my heart, that I literally was like, no, I'm going to be as big as Oprah. And the thing is, I wasn't trying to be Oprah, but I knew I had an impact to make. I was what, 18, 19 maybe? And I just knew there was a matter of a fact. There was a decision made in my neurology where I said I was going to do this. I was going to do something. And fast forward, I remember the students, of course, laughed, and my professor was like, good, good. She was very encouraging. And she's like, keep that, keep that thought process, like follow that. And of course, time passes. I'm a single mom. I'm working. It's just wake up, go to work, go home. Wake up, go to work, go home. And it's just like a repeated pattern. And I got to the point where I remember sitting at work going like, oh my God, she was right. She was right. Like, this is it. This is where I'm going to end up. Because I remember we grew up with not having a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of money. And I remember those words of like, we don't have enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. So that was imprinted in me. That was the verbiage and the understanding that I knew. So the way I spent my money and the way I didn't save and all the mistakes and failures of business and you name it was because I had these old beliefs. I had this old way of thinking of not showing up in a space of abundance. It was always in a space of lack. And so I share this because, yes, it was awful. I remember feeling so embarrassed. Like, how am I someone who's made this amount of money per year to making like zero? Throughout the years, I filed bankruptcy. Throughout the years, I've had a car repossession. So it's like, how did I get to this point? Where did this happen? And it just clicked one day. Of course, you all know that I do tons of personal development. I coach now so that I can support other women who are looking to excel in their lives and careers, wherever they're at, whatever decisions are holding them back. I'm guiding them now because I've been there. So for somebody coming from a place of knowing how to fail, how to fail fast multiple times, and then showing up in a better space, you got to go through it. It's nuts. Now, obviously, if you know better, then you do better. But then even then, I still didn't know. And we're gonna dive into it a little bit more because, those were my stories. And I want to share this because, again, you guys, I remember I was so embarrassed. I remember God telling me, if you don't share, how are you going to support others who need to hear the same story? And so I was just like, okay, but it was so embarrassing. I'm like, geez, I'm like, yes, Lord, but this was about a year ago. I'm like, yes, but all of these women, like, I had the whole community of Wheela, and I'm like, they look up to me. How can I show up and say I've failed at money? I've failed in my past because I didn't know any better. Like, it was, to me, I don't know how many of you out there can say it now, to me, but it was devastating. It was devastating because I was quote unquote a failure in my eyes, and what would they think of me? Granted, I've gotten past all that. I've gotten past the whole, what would they think of me? The patterns of like the constant failures, things like that. But again, it's really understanding that there was this whole people pleasing perception that I had that I wasn't even aware of. Because if you really know me, I'm that person that I don't really care what people think. I'm seriously okay with whatever they think. But part of me did, without even realizing it. Part of me did. So if I continue to show up in my power and purpose and be authentic and share the struggles and share what happened and share that I experienced everything, then I get to show up in a space for somebody else who may be struggling, who may know that feeling of not getting out of this mess that they're in. Because believe me, I've been in it all, literally screaming to God, where are you? Like, I can go on about these stories, but again, every single story, every single pain point in my life has propelled me to where I'm supposed to be, for where He's taking me. And I'm okay with that. That's why there's so much peace. There's so much peace in my heart and in my soul, because of who I'm becoming, who God has positioned me to be. And that's what I want for everyone. That's what I want for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive back, because I get passionate, you guys. I'm sorry, I do. I get really passionate. All right, so today we're gonna go back. We're gonna go and reclaim your inner fire. Let's do this. We're gonna do it together. I'm gonna give you steps to make it happen. So let's identify your inherited limitations. Okay, so what voices from your past are still running your life? What voices from your past are still running your life? And again, you may not even know, but I promise you, if I have 5 to 10 minutes with you, I'll tell you. I will nail it. And it's not even like when I coach, I don't even have to tell somebody. When I talk to them, the majority of the time, 95% of the time, they'll uncover it themselves. They will uncover it. And as a coach, you have to allow the person to do that. They will uncover what's been holding them back. The awareness comes forward of, oh, wow, I know what it is. And that's how you start digging through those layers. Okay, so we got what voices from your past are still running your life. Journal this. It's going to be so beneficial. The we can't afford that and be realistic messages. Did you get the messages I got? Did that keep you stuck? Did that keep you playing small? It did for me. My childhood of hearing money doesn't grow on trees. Did the same verbiage happen in your life? Who knows? This is going to get deeper and deeper, right? What did the adults in your life teach you about dreaming big? This is interesting, you guys, because ultimately, I've met people who basically said, you can't think that way. Oh, that's silly. Don't be thinking big like that. It's like a lot of cultures, a lot of Mexican culture, friends of mine, their family made them think small. Don't think too big, or else nobody's gonna like you, or else, you know, it was bad. Like it was the enemy's wish. It wasn't purposeful. And there's just tons of that. This like whole process in which a lot of my culture could not dream big. What did that look like? And so which of their fears did you inherit as your own? Which of your dads, moms, uncles, aunties, grandparents, cousins, who were you around the most that shared with you their fears and how and stopped you from dreaming big? And I promise you, you'll list it and you'll know. Okay, so let's see. The truth. These aren't your beliefs, they're borrowed limitations. So these are borrowed limitations from somebody else's fear, not yours. And we are now going to connect with your fearless self. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, how do you get back to the bold, unstoppable version of yourself. This is where we get to go into your identity work. So I got to share, borrowed, of course, from the Millionaire Mindset. You get to make declarations. And I love this. I love declaring who I am in feeling abundance and gratitude. And so this is what you're going to do. You're going to put your hand on your heart and you're going to say, I release the scarcity of the past. So I want you to do that right now. Put your hand on your heart and you're going to say, I release the scarcity of my past. And then you're going to put your finger to your head and you're going to say, I have a millionaire mind. So that is super simple. I have to share because I absolutely love this book. Look at all my notes. I have all the notes here, my declarations, and yeah, actually no, each page, like I highlighted like the declarations. But again, personal development books, get with people who are evolving, get with people who are mentoring, who are speaking the language you want to speak. You know, position yourself around people who are dreamers, who are dreaming big, right? Okay, so I had to share that. That is from it's T. Harv Eker, and it's a great book. I highly, highly recommend it, but I borrowed that from them. Okay, so practical steps. Write down one thing that your fearless child self would do. So like, take it back to, think about when you were 4, 5 years old, 6 years old, and you did something fearless. And nobody was there to tell you you were wrong or you were bad or you were this or you were that or not to do it. But remember a time when you were fearless as a child. And then identify one limiting belief you're ready to release. So it could be like from the time you were fearless to a time, let's say, let me use one of mine just to give you an example. When I got older I was in banking, and we used to have these networking events. And there was just this limiting belief about myself that I wasn't good at speaking. Isn't that crazy? Look at, here I am, a speaker. I wasn't good at speaking. So the executives would come around, CEOs, owners, and they would come around and, they would network, and they were all in suits and just dressed very well, very professional. And I remember just feeling like, I remember having this like little, person on my shoulder, like, who do you think you are talking to these high level people? Because I wasn't developed enough in my speaking abilities to have conversations with high level executives. That's a limiting belief, right? Where did that come from? Who in my past basically wanted to keep me quiet? Where did that come from? Where somebody was just like, you're not good enough to speak. Where did that come from? So I identified one limiting belief, ready to release. Of course, I've worked on that. But again, this gives you an idea of this limiting belief that is keeping you playing small. And we're not about that. Okay. So practice the deserving declaration daily. So you're deserving, right? I am deserving of everything my heart desires. I am deserving of everything my heart desires. Whatever you're declaring, and then I have a millionaire mind. Whatever your goal is, whatever that may look like for you. Okay? So building your support system is what we're going to dive into next. Okay, so why trying to do this alone keeps you stuck? Oh, you guys. Let me just share with you. So I've done, and you all know, I'm always in personal development. I'm in masterminds with my coach. And just recently I was in a course, and it asked me, what's been keeping me stuck? What's been keeping me behind? And the thing is, I'm behind in a different concept of my business, in a different place in my business. Excuse me. And it's only because it's like, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm sharing exactly where I'm at, but I'm pretty much isolated. So I'm isolated, I'm working, I'm focused, and I really am. I'm just like laser focused. Okay. But one of the things it called me out on was I'm a lone wolf. And why trying to do this alone keeps you stuck. So guess what? Guess where it's kept me for several months? In a spiraling circular type of motion in my business. So it's kind of like it's moving, but it's like when things move, you move upwards. Mine is just like it moves and then it's like, and just circles. It's not really making its way up. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And the thing is, the lone wolf trap, I had to share this with you all. The lone wolf trap, how isolation feeds fear and doubt. What? I know, right? So, my own lone wolf pattern and breakthrough. Basically, I shared right now what I went through that because it says share a personal example because I was making notes on here. But I shared exactly what I did, my own lone wolf pattern and breakthrough. So now I'm connecting with the people I need to stay connected to who are making the decisions, who are growing, who are talking about everything that I'm doing, and we're coming together to do it. And it's going to be amazing. So, building your pack. This is like a conversation I had in my mastermind class yesterday. You have to find your people. Now, okay, let me position this. There are a lot of women that I've talked to and they're just like, well, there's I wish more women would support each other. Okay. Guess what? Tons of us are. Tons of us women are out there that are supporting other women. But because of the patterns and situations they hold on to, you're still attracting the wrong tribe. Because you don't feel good enough inside about who you are, you'll continue to attract the wrong people. So let's work on that. Let's dive into releasing those negative thoughts, negative patterns that you have about yourself, and let's find your tribe. It's going to be an amazing tribe, believe me. Mine is fabulous. Okay, so find mentors who challenge your limits. Surround yourself with people who believe in your vision. Create community that elevates your energy. That's the community I built years ago. We continue to build and we continue to rise. That's why our events are so popular. And we do tons of connections. We do tons of collaborations and partnerships. And the women that attend the event literally want to support you, literally want to uplift you and engage with you. And that's the type of tribe. Those are the types of women you got to surround yourself with. So definitely don't miss our event. All right. So now I'm going to give you a challenge, your weekly challenge. Do one fearless thing this week, something your 4-year-old would be so proud of. Your 4-year-old self, I should say, would be so proud of. You weren't meant to fit in. Remember, you were meant to rise. Somebody told me this. Somebody told me this recently, so I had to share with you. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to rise. Okay. So share your fearless moment in the comments. Here we go. Share it in the comments. Let me know or send me a DM on my social media and let me know I'm the fearless moment I'm releasing this week is the fearless moment I'm releasing this week. And then that bold, unstoppable version of you, she's still there, waiting to lead. Keep rising, keep thriving, keep elevating because you know what? You were meant for more. So if you felt like this episode really touched your soul, I want you to reach out. I want us to have a conversation. So I'm going to share my contact and coaches will give out phone numbers. They'll give out their emails. And if there's a room full of 100, only 1% will reach out. 1%, probably less than 1%. Because people don't believe in themselves. They don't think they're good enough. And so I'm going to encourage you. And maybe this will be your fearless action for this week, that you're going to book a time with me so that we can chat about where you're at. So visit francinaayala.com/meant for more. I'm here for you. We are rising together. Let's go. I can't wait for your next vision, dream, your next breakthrough. Let's go. All right. Have a blessed one, everybody. And like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions, and we're going strong. So have a blessed week, and I will see you next week. Take care.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level, because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can, so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.